I thy servant have been barren and have no child. I can't have any children. Though I had a husband 30 years. And those 30 years, I did nothing else day and night and every hour but make my prayer to the highest. I prayed to God so he would open my womb and I could have a baby. After 30 years, God heard me, thine handmaid, looked upon my misery, considered my trouble. Now see how long it took her to get an answer? 30. How many of you been waiting more than 30 years for God, for whatever you're praying for God to answer? That's what I just taught on, waiting on God's word. I just taught on that. And gave it examples of people who was waiting many years, decades, for an answer for God, who was praying for certain things. This woman was praying for 30 years to have a child. And I gave examples of that in the Bible with Abraham and Sarah, and in the Old Testament, and in the New Testament, Zechariah and Elizabeth. John the Baptist's appearance. But some, you gotta be patient. Some of you want to rush God. God has told you, you don't have a clock up there. After 30 years, God heard thine handmaid, looked upon my misery, considered my trouble, and gave me a son. And I was very glad of him. So I was, and so was my husband also, and all my neighbors. And we gave great honor unto the Almighty. And I nourished him with great travail. So when he grew up and came to the time that he should have a wife, I made a feast. Chapter 10. And it came to pass that when my son was entered into his wedding chamber, he fell down and died. Then we all overthrew the lights, and all my neighbors rose up to comfort me. So I took my rest unto the second day at night. And it came to pass, when they had all left off to comfort me, so the end I might be quiet. Then I rose up by night and fled, and came hither into this field, as thou seest. And I doth not purpose not to return unto the city, but here to stay, and neither to eat nor drink, but continually to mourn, and to fast until I die. So I'm going to die in this field. Then left I the mediations wherein I was, and spake to her in anger, saying, Thou foolish woman, above all other, seest thou not our mourning, and what happened unto us? How that Zion, our mother, is full of heaviness, and much humble mourning, very sore. And now seest we all mourn and are sad, for we all are in heaviness. Art thou grieved? And thou art grieved for one son? He's saying you're mourning about the one son. And can't you see our whole nation? What has happened to our whole nation? You should be grieving for that. That's what he's saying for Israel. For ask the earth, and she shall tell thee, that it is she which ought to mourn for the fall of so many that grew up on her. For out of her came all the first, and out of her shall all others come, and behold, they had walked almost into destruction, and a multitude of them is utterly rooted out. Who then should make more mourning than she that had lost so great of a multitude? And not that thou art sorry, but for one. He's really upset that she's just selfish and crying for her one son, when there's thousands of sons of Israel that are lost, is what he's saying. But if thou sayest unto me, my lamentations is not like the earth, because I have lost the fruit of my womb, which I brought forth with pains and bear with sorrows. But the earth, not so, for the multitude present in it, according to the course of the earth, is gone and as it came. Then said I unto thee, like as thou hast brought forth with labor, even so the earth also has given her fruit, namely man, ever since the beginning, and unto him that made her. Now therefore keep thy sorrow to thyself, and bear with a good courage that which hath befallen thee. For if thou shalt acknowledge the determination of God to be just, thou shalt both receive thy son in time, and shalt be commended amongst women. Go thy way then unto the city, to thine husband. And she said unto me, that I will not do. I will not go into the city, but here I will die. She's defiant of old Ezra. She said, I'm going to die right here. I ain't listening to nothing you're saying. I want to keep my pity party going, and leave me alone, Ezra. I'm in the middle of my pity party, and don't you try to ruin my pity party for me. I'm going to die right here in my pity party. So I proceeded to speak to her further, and unto her, and said, dost thou not so, but be counseled by me? For how many are adversaries of Zion? Be comforted in regard of thy sorrow of Jerusalem. For thou seest that our sanctuary is laid waste, our altar broken down, our temple destroyed. Our psaltery is laid upon the ground. Our song is put to silence. Our rejoicing is at an end. The light of our candlesticks is put out, and the ark of the covenant is spoiled. Our holy things are defiled, and the name that is called upon verses, the almost profane, our children are put to shame. Our priests are burnt, and the Levites are gone into captivity. Our virgins are defiled, and our wives ravish, raped. Our righteous men carried away. Our little ones destroyed. Our young men are brought into bondage. And our strong men have become weak. And which is the greatest of all? The seal of Zion, that now lost her honor, for she is delivered into the hands of them that hate us. And therefore shake off thy great heaviness, and put away the multitude of sorrows. Toughen it. He's telling her, suck it up, woman. He's giving her a boot instead of a hug, that thou might be merciful unto thee again, and the highest shall give thee rest, and cease from thy labor. And it came to pass, while I was talking with her, behold, her face upon of a sudden shined exceedingly, and her countenance glistened, so that I was afraid of her, and mused what it might be. And behold, suddenly she made a great cry, very fearful, so that the earth shook at the noise of the woman.
Now, this would be a frightening experience. The woman then transferred into probably an angel in disguise, of course, playing a trick on old Ezra.
And I looked, and behold, the woman appeared unto me no more, but there was a city builded, and a large place showed itself from the foundation. Then I was afraid and cried with a loud voice and said, Where is Uriel, the angel, who came unto me at first? But he hath caused me to fall into many trances, and mine end is turned into corruption. I got an upset stomach, and my prayer to rebuke. And as I was speaking these words, behold, he came unto me, and said, and looked upon me. And lo, I lay as one that was dead, and my understanding was taken from me. And he took me by the right hand and comforted me, and set me upon my feet, and said unto me, What aileth thee? And why art thou so disquieted? And why is thine understanding troubled, and thy thoughts of thine heart? And I said, Because thou hast forsaken me, and yet I did according to thy words, and went into the field, and have seen, and yet see, and I am not able to express. And he said unto me, stand up, manfully, and I will advise you. Man up. Then said I, Speak, O my Lord, in me. Only forsake me not, lest I die frustrate of my hope. For I have seen that I knew not, and hear that I do not know. Or is my sense deceived, or my soul in a dream? Now therefore I beseech thee, that thou wilt show thy servant of this. He answered me then, and said, Hear ye, I shall inform thee, and shall tell thee wherefore thou art afraid, for the highest will reveal many secret things unto thee. He hath seen thy way is right, for the sorrows continually for thy people, and makest great lamentations for them, for Zion. And therefore is the meaning of the vision which thou lately sawest. Thou sawest a woman mourning, and thou beganst to comfort her. But now seest thou the likeness of the woman no more. But there appeared unto thee a city builded, and whereas she told thee of the death of her son. This is the solution. The woman whom thou sawest is Zion, is Israel, or Judah. And wherewith she said unto thee, even she whom thou sawest has a city builded. Whereas I say, she said unto thee, that had been 30 years barren. Those are the 30 years wherein there was no offering made in her. There was no offering made in Jerusalem. But after 30 years, Solomon builded the city and offered offerings, and then bare the barren a son. And wherefore she told thee that she nourished him with labor that was dwelling in Jerusalem. But whereas she said unto thee, that thy son coming into the marriage chamber happened to have a fall and died. This is the destruction that came to Jerusalem. So that vision that was given to Ezra was of the city of Jerusalem and what had befallen them during the era of Babylonian captivity, and the city was destroyed. The walls broke down, the temple destroyed, and the children were hauled off into captivity. Some were killed, some were dispersed among the nations. And this was that vision of the woman he gave that was barren, and the son died shortly after the wedding. Excuse me. But whereas she said, this is verse 48, whereas she said unto thee, that thy son coming unto the marriage chamber happened to have a fall and die, and this was the destruction of Jerusalem. And behold, thou sawest her likeness. And because she mourned for her, thou began to comfort her. And of these things which have chanced, these are to be opened unto thee. For now the Most High seeth that thou art grieved unfeignedly for the suffering from the whole heart of her, so hath he showed thee the brightness of her glory, and the comeliness of her beauty. And therefore I had thee remain in the field where no house was built, for I knew that the highest would show thee, or show this unto thee. Therefore I commanded thee to go into a field where no foundation of any building was. For in this place wherein the highest beginning to show thee his city, there can be no man's building to be able to stand. And therefore fear not, let not thy heart be affrighted, but go thy way in and see the beauty and the greatness of the building, as much as thine eyes be able to see. And then shalt thou hear as much as thine ears may comprehend. For thou art blessed above many others, and art called with the highest, and so are but a few. Read that again. For thou art blessed above many others. And that, you can say that for yourself. You are so blessed if you're in Christ and you're called by Christ for whatever he called you for, including the ministry. You're of the chosen few. And this is what he's saying here. And we could say that for us in the New Testament. You are so blessed. It's like the lotto. You get my teaching, the blind parable to the seesaw, and you'll see how blessed you really are to really know Christ and to be called in these last days. And to know God's word in these last days. To practice faith in God's word in these last days. Amongst the helter-skelter of confusion that's going on in the church world. For thou art blessed above many others, and art called with the highest, and so are but a few. Give my teaching also the chosen few. But tomorrow at night thou shalt remain here, and so shalt the highest show thee visions of high things, which are the Most High will do unto them that dwell in the earth in the last days. So I slept that night, and another, like as he commanded me. And we're going to pick up, and I think that's enough for the day. We're going to pick up on chapter 11. Next time we're going to get deep
into his Apocrypha dream. And this dream is on par with what he had up there with Daniel and John the Revelator. And so make sure, if you haven't got a copy, 1611 King James Version, get a copy so you can read along with us, because I'm just getting started on the Apocrypha. I'm going to cover a lot of the Apocrypha books. I've been wanting to do this for years, and I'm finally getting around to it. And we're going to get deep into Bible prophecy and the Apocrypha. Our next sit down, our next reading on Ezra, the Apocrypha Ezra. And this was volume 3. And that's when we're going into volume 4, the next one. All right, if I'm the one that taught you, give. Go to streetpriestministry.org, hit the donate button. Tithes, first fruit, alabaster box belong to the Lord. Only if I taught you, Galatians 6:6. Nothing for you to give material things, for one to taught you spiritual things. And if so many ministers practice that, a lot of them will starve to death. Because they're not teaching you spiritual things. They're teaching you from Mammon's temple or from the Jezebel whore's temple over there in Rome. Synagogue of Satan, 33 and a third. The Masonic teaching is what you get. It's getting, most people are getting in these churches. And the reptilian anointing is what they're experiencing. Not God's Holy Spirit. By these sold out Sams and Sallys behind the pulpit. Prosperity pimps. They're not teaching God's word. You need to get to a church, unless you want to be partakers of their sins and you receive damnation with them. You need to get out of these. They're really cults is what they are. Teaching another gospel. And find yourself a ministry. I don't care if the church only has 7 people in it. Teaching thus saith the word of the Lord. Or if it's a home church. That's what God's doing now. He's raising up a lot of home churches. And I've taught out my home periodically of Bible studies. And that's another thing. The church began in the home. So I started out. They started out these big fancy temples of Mammon. It started out in the homes, people's homes. Jesus said 2 or 3 together in my name, there I'm in the midst. That's the church. So find yourself a place, especially in these last days. You don't want to be deceived. Guard your souls so you can make it to heaven and avoid hellfire. Good day, good evening, good night to you around the world. May you grow in faith in Christ Jesus' mighty name.